main point of my video and why I feel the way I feel about them is because they had Charleston White on there talking crazy about Angel Reese. And they're sitting there kikiing with him, talking about, bro, chill. We trying to get invited to the WNBA All-Star game. And while he is saying crazy obscenities about a player who, for a long time, y'all said was like too masculine, too yada, yada, yada. You got Angel Reese on her bad bitch shit. And it equates to her selling herself. Like, make that man. As far as a WNBA player beating a male basketball player, NBA G League, let me tell y'all something. Like I said, I hoop. I have a partner who I feel like I'm far more skilled than, right? But he's always been able to beat me. Why? Because he's taller than me, stronger than me. I hoop. I know that. Y'all think I don't know that. I know that. But I've also seen women cook players.
Y'all trying to cancel Jeff Teague? Y'all trying to cancel my guy Jeff Teague? There's no way. You can't cancel Jeff Teague. Just because of a simple saying, and which is true. They strictly talk about basketball, the NBA, and everything about that. But then there was a topic that came where I believe Adrienne Wilson, could she, because she's in the WNBA, beat any of the NBA players? And Jeff Teague is like, nah, not even G League. And to some point, not even high school. That's what Jeff Teague said. Now, a lot of women, especially a lot of black women, came out and angry about that. It was like, how dare you say that comment and everything. Listen.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, we gotta talk about black Twitter. Black liberals, black progressives, woke revolutionaries, Diddycrats being upset with Jeff Teague and Charleston White. Now, you guys should be familiar with Charleston White. Everybody should know who he is by now. I do not need to explain, hopefully, who he is, okay? But Jeff Teague is a former NBA player, and he has a podcast in which he invited on Charleston White, and they ended up discussing sports, naturally. They talked about the WNBA and some of Charleston White's past comments about Angel Reese, in which he gives his brutally honest opinion about Angel Reese and what she really cares about.
Like, regardless of that conversation, because I think it's stupid between the better players.
I think Angel Reese won't sell. Yeah, I think Angel Reese really don't want to play basketball. I think she want to sell.
No,
she trying to look, Chuck.
She coming out too sexual.
Dub, no, I ain't gonna let you do that one.
You ain't.
She's trying to. I'm trying to have us at the WNBA All-Star.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, that's your take.
Now, B.A. don't never defend the WNBA, so for him to do this, I love this.
I think she's just trying to make sure she don't look like a dude. Like, she's trying to keep it like
she's trying to brand outside of basketball.
Yeah, like, I'm a woman. I like men.
She tapping into that side. She tapping into that side of it.
No, she's not.
Yeah.
It's so many. It's a WNBA player that look like me and you. So she's trying to make it seem like
more girly.
Yeah,
she's trying to make it more like you can still be attracted to.
You ain't got to be left-handed to play the W. Basically, what she's saying.
It's a Charleston White and the BN on the FIFA right there. Woo, she's trying to switch the narrative, bro.
I'll take that, D.
And they dress her like this. So.
I'll take that. But I still think she need to do OnlyFans, like Shaq said. She need to dunk in her panties. Shaq told her that. Shaq told her she needed to go dunk in her panties. I'm with
Shaq
that.
didn't say that. He was out of pocket. Is wild
He
for saying
didn't
that.
say y'all, stop.
I'm with you, Shaq. I'm with you.
I wasn't going to say anything about the Jeff Teague podcast clip that came out about Angel Reese because if I'm honest, like, I'm just so tired of, like, giving black men that think that way a platform. Like, I'm tired of even, like, needing to acknowledge that conversations need to be had within the black community. Like, this is, like, their comments were offensive to Angel, to black women, to players in the WNBA, all of those things. And it's just like, I'm just so tired of it. And the thing is that I understand that there's nothing that I can say. There's nothing that anybody can say. There's no amount of backlash that will ever deplatform these people. But at the same time, I think that it's fair to acknowledge that it sucks to see those 4 black men sit up there and say that about another black woman. It sucks to know that there are so many people out there who won't actually publicly say those things, but do think that way, or will say it in their smaller friend group. There's nothing that was said during that podcast, nothing that's been being said on Black Twitter and on Black TikTok that is being productive anymore at this point. Like, this conversation is just going to start the cycle of everything that we talk about every 60 days, which is somebody talks about a black woman in their body or a decision that they made. And so then that leads to a conversation about how much sex people are having and calling people sluts and whores and degrading them for making their own decisions with their bodies. And then that turns into a conversation about, oh, this is why I don't date within my race. And this is why I'm not starting a family and blah, 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 blah. And that leads to a whole conversation about black men. And then that turns into black men talking about their mental health and how nobody cares about it. And I'm going to be really honest with you. It's likely that people aren't taking that seriously because y'all cause so much damage to other people because you're hurting on the inside.
Story that I talk about bottom of the barrel men with podcast mics. Speaking on the WNBA and women in a derogatory way once again. But I want to say I'm not all up in arms about this. Since the beginning of time, men have been speaking on women in a derogatory way. From 5 billion years ago into present day, people think that women are only good for their bodies and how they can be sexualized in some form. So this podcast is just more of the same. And because now the WNBA has so much clout and women's basketball has so much clout, of course, men with this type of thought process are going to use that opportunity to speak on women for money. So the best thing we could do is ignore them. But I know people, I don't want it to look like I didn't see this, so I will speak on it. But y'all, just let's see them, see this, note it, they're trash. Let's move forward. Because although Charleston White is ignorant, always has been and always will be, the fact that only, I think this guy right here, I don't really know his name, whatever, he was trying to defend Angel Reese to some degree, but the company that you keep is a representation of you. And Jeff Teague, this guy right here, and whoever else laughing and kikiing with Charleston White and inviting him on his show is a representation of you, whether you like it or not. And honestly, you thinking that you're going to be in a WNBA space or in a space that's taken seriously, inviting people like Charleston White on, really shows the delusion of your thought process. You guys clearly do not want to be a podcast to be taken seriously in any way, shape, or form. So I think, Jeff Teague, you should just go back to the telling NBA stories of yesteryear. Do that. That probably is better off than doing what you did here, because this was just not cute.
Yeah, so you see, now you heard that. Clearly, the woke revolutionaries, the feminist soul sisters, were not okay with what Charleston White said. Now, before I get into my opinion on what Charleston said, I want to read some of the reactions here from so-called Black Twitter. Christian Muhammad, he says, quote, "I am not reacting to brother Charleston White's disgusting and depraved comments about our sister, Angel Reese, and our sisters in the WNBA on a podcast. I'm watching to see how black men react to Mr. White's comments and the podcast host who enabled him. Who will they defend, Mr. White or Miss Reese? That will determine how far we've come or how far we've gone down." So apparently this guy thinks that black men are supposed to white knight for Angel Reese, to come swooping in and defend Angel Reese from Charleston White and his criticisms of her. This person says Jeff Teague is an anti-black weirdo that hates black women. He allowed that other anti-black weirdo, Charleston White, onto his platform to say that predatory, nasty-ish about Angel Reese. These people need to start getting sued. Anybody agreeing with Charleston White's comments on Club 520 about Angel Reese needs to be looked at with disgrace. This is definitely what misogynistic men think about all women, not just Angel Reese or Angel Wilson or the women of the WNBA. Yeah, so what is happening here is that you have the woke revolutionaries trying to cancel Jeff Teague, okay? This woman is saying, who are Jeff Teague and the 520 podcast sponsors? There's no way these corporate sponsors can see Charleston White talk so nasty about the top stars in the WNBA and allow their partnerships to continue. Yeah, so they're trying to cancel Jeff Teague. Okay, they know that Charleston White is not cancelable. Okay, so they're trying to go after Jeff Teague because he allowed somebody that they don't like on their platform, and he said things about Angel Reese they don't like. So yeah, that's not the only thing they're upset about. But before we talk about the other statement that made the woke revolutionaries upset, we have to discuss these comments that Charleston White made, which I do not condone. Okay, I am not co-signing those comments. Okay, it's not something that I would have said, not the way that he said it, but it is a sentiment that I have expressed on my channel about how Angel Reese, through her own actions, is inviting what she calls unwanted attention. This is the same woman that told the world that she doesn't like to be sexualized, okay? After she lost in the NCAA college basketball tournament to Caitlin Clark, her last year playing college basketball, doing that press conference, she talked about how she didn't like being sexualized, okay? While boohoo whining and cried. So, hey, she seemed to be sincere with what she was saying, how she does not like to be sexualized. But yet, it seems to me that Angel Reese, the way that she's carrying herself, it seems as if she really doesn't mind being sexualized because the way that she dresses invites unwanted sexual attention. Now, again, that is an uncomfortable concept for people to understand. But as a pragmatist, right, as a pragmatic person, I am all about giving realistic advice that will immediately help people with the problem that they claim that they want to solve. But the reality is that a lot of people claim they have all these problems and they don't really want to solve these problems because they want something to complain about, to boohoo and whine and cry victim over, okay? Especially the woke revolutionaries, okay? So they want to pretend as if they have all these problems so that they can continue to boohoo, whine, and cry victim and to get society to feel bad for them so that they can get special rights and privileges, okay? That is what this is all about. It's all about power, okay? Power and control. This is what they want, okay? They want to be able to do whatever they want, okay, and not suffer any of the inevitable and natural consequences of their behavior. In this case, the case of Angel Reese and other women who insist on dressing promiscuously, the consequence is that you're going to get unwanted male attention. Now, I am not saying it's okay for a grown man to approach a woman or to say something that is inappropriate to a woman, to make unwanted advances towards a woman. I'm not saying it's okay for a man to do any of those things because of the way a woman dresses, okay? But I am telling you that there are some men who do not have that self-control, and due to how a woman is dressing, okay, when she's not dressing modestly, when she is advertising herself to the world, essentially, you're going to have men who are going to try to take advantage of that, okay? And I'm not saying that these are good men, okay? They're bad men, but they exist. They're out there in the world. And in order to avoid unwanted attention, it is best for you to dress modestly. Now, some people will say, well, it doesn't matter how a woman dresses. She's going to get unwanted attention anyways. Yes, this is true. You're going to get some of it, but you're not going to get as much as you would get, again, if you were dressing promiscuously. If you dress like Angel Reese, you're going to increase your chances of men making these types of comments because of the way that your dress represents how you see yourself. That's what these women don't understand. How you dress is a representation of how you see yourself. If you're dressing in a way in which you're advertising yourself to the world, in which you're showing the world everything that you got, then some people are going to see that as, hey, that's an open invitation, right? And again, I'm not saying that's a good thing. That's a bad thing, okay? It's not good. I don't condone that type of behavior or those thoughts, but I'm just saying that is what happens, okay? That's what happens. So while I do not endorse or co-sign Charleston White's comments and what he said is what happens when you run around dressing like Angel Reese. That's what's going to happen, okay? It is what it is. It is what it is. We live in a world of cause and effect. No matter how much women don't want to live in a world where consequences are a thing, okay, where accountability is a thing, unfortunately it is for them, okay? And you have to accept the fact that, hey, if this is how you want to dress and present yourself as a WNBA player, then yeah, that's the type of attention that you're going to get. This is what people are going to think about you. This is what men are going to think about you. My advice not only would help her when it comes to not getting unwanted attention, but also it probably will help her make some money if she wants to make good money, big money as a WNBA player. Caitlin Clark, who does not carry herself that way, she has a clean brand that advertisers can use to market to children safely. Okay, there's not much risk and there's very high reward. Okay, she has a very valuable brand. This is why she gets all the endorsements. Again, this is a concept that apparently the WNBA players don't understand and the woke revolutionaries don't understand. So I have to explain it to them. I have to break it down to them. Okay, like they're children. Very easy stuff. Now, again, Angel Reese, on the other hand, her brand being a little bit more risky because of the way she presents herself. Not somebody I would put out there in front of little girls as a role model. At least not the way that she carries herself right now. If her game doesn't get better in the WNBA, then she may struggle to get brand endorsements. And according to Angel Reese, her WNBA salary doesn't even cover her rent for her apartment. So she is dependent on these brand deals. She's dependent on these endorsements. And in order for her to secure her financial future as an athlete, which again, her career is going to be very limited, right? It has a limited period of time in which she can make a lot of money unless she has some other high value skill that she could market. Okay, maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. But if she wants to make the money and she has to make the money now, then she needs to make sure that her brand has mass appeal. Okay, but what she's doing right now, her own personal brand, does not have mass appeal. It has niche appeal. And that appeal is not the appeal that the WNBA and these advertisers are really looking for to reach massive audiences. Okay, and that, again, that's what these people don't get. They don't understand the business side of this. So when I give Angel Reese this advice, when people come out here and give Angel Reese this advice, it's not me being creepy, right? It's not me condoning bad behavior. It is me actually being legitimately concerned about her financial well-being and whether or not she's making the best decisions as a young professional, okay? This is the type of advice I would give my daughter if I had one. So with that being said, they weren't just upset about Charleston White saying that about Angel Reese. They also were upset about Jeff Teague basically saying that the best WNBA player, okay, which is A'ja Wilson, if you don't count Caitlin Clark, she would not beat one WNBA player in a game of basketball. Take a look.
Can't beat nobody in the NBA.
Hell no.
No,
that might get spooky.
Not
bro.
one. Not one.
They did a whole. We're talking bench players. Everybody.
No,
Sham
niggas. Do y'all know niggas on the bench used to average 40 in high school and niggas 20 in college? All type of
It's funny because she was on the Knicks Niggas podcast. It was like Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart. She was just like, if me and you play Josh Hart, who gonna win the game? He said, me. She's like 11-7. He's like, me 11, right? And they just had like a really funny joke about it. She was just like, nah, I'll get y'all up out of here. He just like, nah, let's not joke about that.
Yeah, let's not play around, bro. Like, he gonna beat your ass. Like,
Yeah, nah. The top WNBA player is not beating the 12th man.
not be no. She's not beating a in the G League.
So
She's not beating a in college.
I was not aware that there was another clip circulating on the internet about whether or not A'ja Wilson could beat an NBA player. And even if I was referring to that clip, a lot of the comments and conversations happening underneath that video surrounding that topic are just not respectful either. So regardless of what I was talking about, a lot of men did react in the way that I had explained is toxic and unhelpful within the Black community. But on another level, I do think that it's weird that when a WNBA player, you know, has confidence and belief in their skill, the first thought that comes to your head is to pick apart that person's skill. I do find that weird, yes. And I do think that it's weird that when she said that, or if a player says that or believes that, the immediate thing to do is to tell everybody the reasons that they're wrong and to point out flaws in their game. I think, like, it's just weird that, like, you guys take that as, like, a personal dig when y'all don't hoop professionally.
I just saw that clip of Jeff Teague and them saying that A'ja Wilson couldn't beat a single man in college basketball. Like, I get the statement about the NBA and the G League, but bro, Brandon Dwyer, that dude from Florida Gulf Coast University, the road to 1 point dude, he is not beating the best WNBA player. And there's a ton of other guys just in his position that are not scoring a point against A'ja Wilson in a game to 11.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Is this even worth the conversation, guys? You know we live in a cuckoo for Cocoa Puff society when it is controversial for an NBA player to state the equivalent of the sky is blue, right? When it comes to whether or not any WNBA player, I don't care how good she is, could beat an NBA player in a game of basketball. I don't think that Aja Wilson could beat Jeff Teague, who's retired right now. I don't think she could beat a retired Jeff Teague. I don't think she could beat anybody in the NBA. I don't think she could beat anybody in college basketball, any male. Now, again, maybe she might win versus some middle schoolers or some really bad high schoolers, but that's it, right? That's it. But hey, we do live in a world where people are seriously entertaining this idea that Aja Wilson could beat a WNBA player. Like this person says, you put prime Aja Wilson against 40-year-old Chris Paul and y'all would be crying elder abuse. Please. Jeff Teague, lame, because he said Aja Wilson won't beat an NBA player is crazy. Y'all tried the same ish with Brittany Griner. Aja Wilson would bust Jeff Teague's ass and most of the men in the NBA, G League, and college. Yeah, so again, full-blown delusion here from Black Twitter, right? People on the internet. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.